All right, today we're going to take a look at this guy. This is a Zwilling bamboo knife storage block. Let's get this thing opened up and check it out. And here it is, the Zwilling. Okay, some quick stats on this guy. It's made out of bamboo. This thing is fairly heavy, seems really sturdy, probably 3, 4, 5 pounds. Has this swivel base with rubber feet so you can spin it on your countertop, so that's kind of nice. I paid about $85 for this guy. 26 slots and made in China. Now I looked high and low for a wooden knife block made in North America or Western Europe, and I just can't find one. Okay, so let's get this thing filled with knives. Got my sharpening steel in this slot. Got my shears in this slot. Got plenty of steak knives in here, paring knives, slicing knives. There's a large knife slot up here. I'm going to use that for my 10-inch Zwilling, Kramer by Zwilling carbon steel chef's knife. And, I've run into a bit of a snag. Unfortunately here it looks like a lot of my knives are too wide for the 2-inch slots in this block. Now, part of this is my problem, is my fault. When I was researching knife blocks, I looked online, I glanced over the specs. It said these things would hold 9, 9.5 inch chef's knives. Got a bunch of 8-inch chef's knives. I just assumed they would fit. And here's a prime example of what happens when someone assumes. So these knife slots here, they are a very tight tolerance, 2 inches wide. I measured a bunch of my knives, and down at the bottom of the blade here, they are more than 2 inches wide, and they just will not fit all the way into the slots. Now I find it somewhat interesting / ironic that a Zwilling knife block will not hold at the same time 2 big Zwilling chef's knives. So it'll hold one 10-inch. If you got the 10-inch in there, there's no place to put this Kramer by Zwilling 6-inch chef's knife. Other knives fit nicely. This Henckels fits nicely. It's a little bit thinner. This Wusthof classic icon, it fits nicely. One though I do want to call out in particular that does not fit is this guy. And this guy doesn't look too fancy. He's not very expensive. Why is this knife important? This is the Victorinox chef's knife that America's Test Kitchen has been recommending for probably at least a decade now. So probably millions of people have this knife. I know when I started really getting into cooking and learning a lot about cooking 10 years or so ago, I really liked America's Test Kitchen. I still do. And I got this knife and a couple of these knives actually because they recommended them. And I've since moved up to a little bit fancier and more high-end knives, but I still use these guys, and I'm sure millions of other people do. This knife, this Victorinox 8-inch, will not fit in the 2-inch slots on this Zwilling knife block. And that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. So what do I think about the Zwilling? I think this is a high quality knife block. I think it's good looking. The swivel mechanism works nicely, but unfortunately it's not going to be a good knife block for a lot of people because the slots are just too narrow. So if you're thinking about getting one of these, I would give it a recommendation only if you get out a ruler and go through your knife collection, measure your knives, the width. If you've got more than one knife that is more than 2 inches wide, here with a pretty tight tolerance, 2 1/8, 2 1/16, it's not going to fit all the way in these slots. So if you got wider knives, I would avoid it. If your knives will fit in this block, then I think it is a good one. It gets a thumbs up. Now, if you decide you're going to get one of these for yourself, make sure you go through the affiliate shopping links below. I buy all this stuff myself to review, and if you go through the links, if you're going to buy one anyway, it does help to mitigate the cost of a lot of this equipment around here. Make sure you look somewhere on the screen for links to other videos you might enjoy. Post your questions, comments, and feedback below. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time on Uncle Scott's Kitchen.